There is a particular kind of silence that falls over a room when Yesum Wike enters it. Governors lower their voices, senators choose their words carefully, even journalists, seasoned ones, measure their sentences before they speak. For 2 decades, Nyesom Wike has operated at the absolute summit of Nigerian political power, a man so deeply wired into the architecture of this country's governance that his name alone is a currency. He has survived administrations, he has outlasted enemies, he has turned political near-death experiences into comebacks that made the history books. But on the 25th of February 2026, a court registrar in Abuja signed a document that Wike cannot lobby, cannot outspend, and cannot charm away. It is called Form 48, and it says, in the cold, unfeeling language of Nigerian law, obey this court order or face prison. Before we go deeper into what this means, and it means everything, subscribe to the Public Square NG right now. Because what is unfolding in that Abuja courtroom is bigger than one land dispute. It is a referendum on whether power in Nigeria has any ceiling at all. To understand how Nyesom Wike arrived at this moment, you must first understand what kind of man he is. Not the caricature, but the architecture. He did not rise by accident. Wike spent 8 years as Rivers State Governor building a political machine so formidable that when the 2023 presidential primaries fractured the PDP, it was his defection, his calculated, surgical pivot to support Bola Tinubu that many political analysts credit as decisive. He did not just cross the aisle, he carried enough weight with him to tilt the election, and his reward was the FCT ministerial seat. The most powerful non-elected position in Nigeria, the man who controls the land, the permits, the demolitions, and the future of Abuja itself. When you control Abuja's land, you control Abuja's wealth. Every plot, every allocation, every fence that goes up or comes down in this city passes through the orbit of that office. That is not speculation. That is the structural reality of how the FCT works. Which is precisely why what happened in Maitama on the 24th of February 2026 is so extraordinary and so dangerous. Al-Haji Abubakar Ibrahim has held plot A06583 in Maitama since 2006, nearly 20 years. 8,572 square meters of prime FCT real estate allocated under Nasir El-Rufai. He turned down offers of 1 billion to 1.5 billion naira because he had development plans. A man does not turn down 1.5 billion naira unless he is certain of what he owns. Then in November 2025, he discovered his land had been silently reallocated without his knowledge, without notice, without compensation, to an entity called Italia Company Limited. He went to court. His lawyers filed suit against Wike and Italia Company Limited, and on the 10th of February 2026, Justice Hamza Muazu of FCT High Court 24 issued an unambiguous order, status quo. Nobody touches that property. 14 days later, 50 armed policemen arrived at that Maitama plot with development control officials. They demolished the fence, they demolished the security house. Ibrahim says he received a phone call from a security operative, not a legal notice, a phone call, telling him to vacate before the bulldozers arrived. They moved his trucks without taking inventory. In one morning, nearly 2 decades of investment became rubble. Ibrahim's lawyers were categorical at their press conference. This was done on the personal directive of Minister Nyesom Wike. Now here is where this story stops being about land and becomes about the soul of Nigerian governance. This is not the first Abuja property allegedly demolished under Wike's watch despite legal restraining orders. Sahara reporters documented a near-identical case, Most Realty and Investment Limited in Kwara District, where development control officials backed by armed police allegedly demolished a court-protected property, after which it was swiftly reallocated and a new fence erected within days. 1.5 billion naira worth of land, same playbook, different address. A pattern is not an accident. A pattern is a policy. And the policy, as critics are now arguing publicly, appears to be this. In Wike's Wike, a court order is not a wall, it is a speed bump. That calculation may now be unraveling in open court. Form 48 has been issued and served by newspaper publication because the minister's team was reportedly not appearing to receive normal service. Form 49, the actual commitment process, is the next legal instrument. It is the document that begins the formal proceedings to send someone to a correctional center, what Nigerians used to simply call prison. The court has authorized its use against a sitting federal minister. Nyesom Wike has faced impeachment threats, federal might, political exile, and hostile media. He has never faced a judge holding Form 49 with nowhere left to maneuver.
The case returned to Justice Muazu's courtroom on the 9th of March, today, the very day this script reaches you. What happens in that courtroom will tell us something profound about the Nigeria we actually live in versus the Nigeria we are always promised. Because if Wike walks away from this, if the contempt proceedings dissolve quietly into adjournments, if the pressure evaporates as political pressure always seems to in this country, then every Nigerian who has ever gone to court to protect what is theirs must confront a devastating truth. The court's stamp means nothing if the man on the other side is powerful enough. But if Justice Muazu holds the line, if Form 49 proceeds, if the law refuses to blink, then something rare will have occurred in Nigeria. Not justice as a concept, justice as an event. The public square NG will not look away, neither should you.